Yo, what's going on, everybody? Market's about to close here, so we'll go ahead and take a look at what we got today as far as price action. Start here on this hourly. Right, on an hourly, since we cleared the daily high we wanted to see get cleared yesterday. So if you watched the recap from yesterday's price action, we spoke about how this high was a daily high, Thursday's high. We wanted to see if we couldn't clear that and then retrace back into this range. We do run that just barely, but that's enough. And then you do see we get that sell off basically to clear out now the sell side. So still really ranging from this high to low, just back and forth, but we were able to clear out the buy side before that move lower. No trades this afternoon, so all of our plays really came off the morning action here. Want to point out quickly that we were using this 1 hour inversion as kind of a objective, and you'll see that on these lower time frames. So we'll go immediately to the one. That's what we were working with this morning. So the trade we shared was actually an 8:30, so a pre-opening bell setup. This is that 15-minute that you saw on that higher time frame. So a discount here. We were still expecting price to continue to reach for higher prices. That's kind of what our objective was, right? We wanted to see if price couldn't continue to just remain bullish. So as we traded into this 15-minute, we wanted to see if we couldn't find a long setup here at the 8:30 opening. Lo and behold, 8:30, right? We like the 8:30 opening. You'll notice that we create a little YouTube model. So we clear a short-term low. And then we actually create a market structure shift through this high, leaving a fair value gap behind. And we do have two lows here that we didn't clear. But right, we're fine not really worrying about these because this low had already cleared a previous sell side liquidity point. So you have to understand we've already cleared sell side liquidity. We've hit consequent encroachment of the 15-minute. It's fine that this becomes our protected low. Right, as we close back above here, we wouldn't want to really see this low get broken, which is why as we create the YouTube model here, still holding this protected low, we trust that this area should hold us. So we went ahead and went long right as price traded into this 1 minute fair value gap. So price trades into that, we get long there, or we also like that price created some equal lows. So now we have liquidity paired with that inefficiency, just added confirmation. Right, we trade into that area. We go a little bit deeper, just returning into the 15-minute. Not too worried, as we mentioned, we have this as an area of support. Ultimately, we are able to start accelerating, and now we get above, right, our other area of interest, which became this 1 minute bearish fair value gap. So as we were following price this morning, we noted how this was the premium fair value gap that really started this leg high to low to clear out the sell side. And we noticed how it had held us a few times. So if we could close above it, this should act as an inversion and really protect us from returning any lower. Right, that's what we see play out here at 9:30. We immediately go right through that fair value gap. We close above it. We now would expect to act as an inversion, and that's what we see happen here. So kind of sloppy delivery, honestly, a lot of give and take. But when we understand where we are, right, we're okay really kind of sitting through this, a little choppier than we liked, but we ended up just targeting these equal highs here, which aligned with consequent encroachment of the 1 hour. So you can see how everything really, right, is always aligned with other PD arrays. There's always multiple PD arrays that we're kind of looking at that are overlapping. And when we see buy side liquidity sitting right at consequent encroachment of an hourly premium, that's a perfect target for us. So we get out as price trades into that, and then right back and forth, back and forth. We were going to try to go long in here using the volume imbalance, but as price just continues to go back and forth, right, and we close under this volume imbalance, we just close that position manually. Really no interest to try to hold through this chop. For us, that was really all we had for today. Right, so we understood that this 15-minute should give us a nice little long setup just into this short-term buy-side high. We didn't really expect price to return all the way back up into high of day. And that's why we see price really kind of stall out and fizzle around this new day opening gap. We made one attempt to try to get above it here. And when we close back below, that's a good indication that we would really expect price to retrace, right? If we're going to break through premium, like the new day opening gap, but then immediately return back underneath it, more than likely we want to return to clear out sell side that we had left behind. You'll actually notice how, right, we go from buy side up here all the way now to sell side where the slow originally started. So a sell model, ugly one, but you see how price moves from liquidity to liquidity. We can take a look at this afternoon. All right, we're following price here. So price, once again, we clear sell side, we continue to range. Once we actually break through this low, right, we're finally leaving that range. So now we would see if price couldn't continue with that bearish delivery. So once we close below that here, we would expect bearish delivery to continue, right? We look at the last premium that holds us and then break structure again through this low, not only through a low, but also through the new week opening gap. So now we would expect that this fair value gap here holds us, right? We want to see price reach into yesterday's low. That was kind of the objective we were going to follow, just see if we couldn't reach previous day low. We got a little more animated and actually reached pretty deep into the new day opening gap. And you can see now with the news, right, we're kind of accelerating. This is all aftermarket stuff though, so we won't see it until tomorrow. But yeah, back to it. We do get a few good shorting opportunities. And we often speak about, right, when would we expect price to retrace and when wouldn't we? In this situation, because from this high to low, we've already spent so much time in here, kind of like we spoke about this morning, this becomes really balanced once we close below this low. We can even see right from these lows as well. If we look this morning, we've spent so much time going down, up, back down, right, up, down, back up, back down, came up one more time. So when we finally leave this range, if we are bearish and we're going to reach for these objectives, price has no need or intention to return back into the range that we've just left. And that's why we'll see the most recent premium formed in the form of this bearish fair value gap. That's all that price really runs into. And it doesn't even get into consequent encroachment. So that's a good sign that price is very bearish there, which is why we can really expect that this newest fair value gap here would hold us as well, especially as we close under our new week opening gap. So same idea, right? That holds, that accelerates us into a low. We create another low. And at this point, we're just continuing with bearish order flow. So pretty easy to follow. We create a new low. We retrace into a fair value gap, pair that one with a volume imbalance this time, and we attack that low again. At this point, we're heading into power hour, so we just really try to consolidate. We do create some equal lows and clear those one last time. So one last little run on liquidity, sell side liquidity, and then we reverse and give us a little bit of bullish delivery to close out the day. So still a lot of give and take, but you see how that last discount here holds us. Right, so in reality, if we look at this, short-term low cleared, market structure shift, this becomes the YouTube model, and that's what holds us to close out the day. As we come into it a few times once, we give an aggressive return. Notice how we reprice perfectly into new week opening gaps. So price is never just aimlessly wandering. Right? It's still reaching for these very specific levels that if we know what to look for, we'll see them play out. We go from a discount perfectly into new week opening gap, back down into that same discount, look at the bodies. So even though it may look like carnage, right, back and forth, we're still respecting premiums and discounts that we understand and that we can see in price. We then clear that high again before ultimately one more run lower, right? This is the news candle. So we wick through that and now we've accelerated. And think, people that would see this, right, it's kind of a good time to talk about it since we saw it live. They're going to say, oh, well, news is random, right? You can't really judge the news. We understand news is just used as a catalyst, right? Look at this delivery here. It returns perfectly where? Into the low of the discount, just to pick up that sell side liquidity. And I mean, you can't have more perfect delivery than that, right? Perfect delivery. We accelerate. Where do we close? Right near midnight, right? And then we retrace where? Right back into the 830 level. So these algorithmic signatures are always present, and it's just beautiful to see once you know what you're looking for. But yeah, that's all we had for today. Heading into tomorrow real quick. Let's see. Kind of clear some things up. We've just cleared a lot of sell side liquidity, and now we have buy side. So honestly, I would like to see buy side be ran. Pretty simple here. As we mentioned, we've cleared sell side. I would like to see this high get ran out. And that's really what we'll look for heading into tomorrow. We're still holding this if we're on a 4-hour fair value gap. This is an inversion, and we're still holding that. Right, same with the actual bullish 4-hour fair value gap here, like this. So clear these for now. So at this point, everything on higher time frames, even though it is choppy and consolidating, I still favor buy side delivery, and we'll look to see if we can't run out a high tomorrow. High impact news tomorrow at 9:45 a.m. So we'll meet up at 9:40 to get the morning started. Until then, hope you guys found this helpful. Have a good afternoon, everybody, and we will talk tomorrow morning. Take care.